Welcome to Grandpa Joe's Storytime. White Grey Owl is the home of Grandpa Joe. I'm going to read from another Yorkshire author who's a fellow member of the Promoting Yorkshire Authors group. Meant for young adults, and Grandpa Joe is well the other side of that genre, The Order of the White Boar by Alex Marchant is a really good read that puts Richard III in a different light to that portrayed by the history books. It's an intimate tale told from the perspective of a young page that gives an insight into the inner workings of the nobles at the time of the last Plantagenet. It really is good, and the next instalment, The King's Man, is now available too. I've read it. It is different, but just as enthralling. I'm looking forward to the third book in the series, so don't leave it too long, Alex. Here's a piece of the first chapter set at Middleham Castle in 1482. The sword smashed down just an inch from my nose, spraying my face with gravel as I sprawled on the dusty ground. I rolled away in desperation, hoping to scramble to my feet, my hand flailing to grab my own sword. But he was too quick for me. His heavy boot kicked away my arm, then the sword, flicking it out of reach. Then he stamped down on my chest, winding me. I gasped at the pain stabbing my wrist, my chest, and at the fear crushing me from head to toe. I struggled to catch my breath, glancing from side to side, seeking a way out, anywhere I might escape him. Now he brought down his sword, down, down, in a slow, deliberate arc, lining up to the point between my eyes. The tip almost touched my nose, unwavering. Sunlight glinted off the length of its unpolished blade. White knuckles clenched about the hilt. Above, his eyes were dark slits, his mouth a pinched line. His face, usually so handsome, was deformed by hate. "Upstart," he hissed. "Runt." I writhed to the left, to the right, desperate to get away, but his foot still pinned me down. I was helpless beneath it. My breath came in short, ragged bursts. My mind raced. I'd never seen such spite before. Why did he feel this way? What had I done? I had no idea. Could not even guess why he hated me so. Still, his sword was pointed at me as I lay there gazing up at him, alone, defenceless. Hands clapped twice. "Boys, boys, enough!" The weapons tutor, Master Fleet, was hurrying over. "Put up your sword, Master Soulsby." Hugh didn't move at first, as though he hadn't heard. Then slowly, his eyes holding mine, he lowered his sword from my face. Its tip traced down my throat until it rested upon the open neck of my doublet. My chest was still heaving from my fear and the fight, but I felt the tap, tap, tap as the sword point rose and fell there 3 times, as though mocking me in its triumph. Hugh stepped back, nodding his head towards me, where I still lay in the dust at his feet. And that, Master Wansford, is how a gentleman wields a sword. A smirk on his broad face, he swung round to his audience, our fellow pages. A smattering of applause broke out, and he swept them a most magnificent bow, his arms wide, knee deeply bent, rich crimson mantle topped elegantly over one muscular shoulder. He was the very picture of nobility as he stood, basking in their admiration. I'd been reminded of my place. According to Hugh, it wasn't here, at Middleham Castle, training to become a knight. I eased myself to my feet and went to retrieve my sword. My shoulders were stiffening already after the battering I had taken, and the light cloth of my undershirt caught painfully against the bruises where Hugh's stinging blows had landed. As I picked up the sword, I weighed its burnished chestnut blade in my hand. They might be made of wood, but these play swords could cause damage enough when wielded by somebody with so much hatred in them. I slunk off to the mounting block by the stables, while Hugh joined the throng of pages and Master Fleet set another pair of boys to skirmishing with their wooden swords. Sweeping the dust and grit from my front, my fingers found holes again in the woolen fabric of my doublet, where it had already been patched. My eyes stung as I remembered all of the mending my mother had done before I came to my new home. Feet scraped on the gravel. A shadow fell across me, and, to my surprise, other hands began brushing dirt from the back of my doublet. "There," came a voice. "We'll have you clean enough before the Duchess returns." I blinked away my tears and looked up. One of the other pages stood there, a fair-haired, open-faced boy with freckles and laughing eyes. I knew him only by sight. No older than myself, he was, of course, taller, as were most boys of my age. He was smiling down at me. "You must not mind Hugh," he said after a moment when I did not speak. "He doesn't mean it." I grunted. "I fear he does." "He's only jesting. He's like that with all of the new pages." "Jesting?" I drew up my doublet and undershirt. As I thought, the bruises were growing livid, the dark reds, blues of a deepening sunset. "A fine sort of jest that leaves marks such as these." He was the first boy who'd spoken friendly words to me since I came to the castle. So I forced a smile. Perhaps he just doesn't know his own strength, like an ox that could break down a gate with one kick and be free, if only he'd had a brain. The boy laughed. "Maybe. Soulsby, the dumb ox. It has a certain ring to it. Perhaps, when he's a knight, he can adopt it as his badge. Vache noir on a muck brun champ." That sounds like very poor French. Thanks for listening. If you liked the brief reading from The Order of the White Boar, you can buy the series from Amazon. Find it on wisegrayowl.co.uk. Please subscribe to Grandpa Joe's Storytime on YouTube or follow us on SoundCloud.